Hello and welcome to our second episode of League of Bets, the podcast where we give you all of the latest news and insights on League of Legends betting. On today's episode, we look into the importance of your long-term strategy when it comes to sports betting after a pretty dismal week of sad bets. We delve into the big tier moves and transfers from the entire season and whether all of that money paid off for the teams. And also a mystery segment brought to you by Seagull Lawn. It's even a mystery to Ryan and I. We literally have no idea what's about to happen.
I'll never tell.
But first, how was your week, Chicken Gunya? What did you get up to today? This week, I mean.
Yeah, this week, nothing too special during the week. Just a normal working week of teaching Chinese students some English. But on the weekend, I got to go paragliding. So it's been about a year since I've done that. So I got to check out the local city from the sky, be like the condors here, roaming around the skies. So pretty fun. And I got some videos if anyone wants to check that out. Pretty cool.
What
about you,
sick,
Henry?
Man.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah.
Well, I haven't been flying like an eagle like Ryan has, but had a pretty good week in general. As my shirt explains, eat, sleep, league, repeat. Have been playing a little bit of League. Me and Jared have had some good solo queue games. Getting close to that next tier of rank, and also had a big TFT session as well. Went up a couple of tiers in that, so that was good. In personal life, just had my girls today. It was my day off work that I spent the day with them and went to baby gym, and all good fun. And they're asleep now, so happy days.
Got to Masters in TFT yet?
No, I've my peak is diamond, and that's the goal when I retire.
Yeah, nice. Just
to get that really nice looking diamond border when you play with the rest of the boys.
That's right. And when you load in, they're like, "Oh, this guy's done." Oh, it's just TFT. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that means nothing.
Cool. Anyway, should we break into our first segment?
Sounds good, guys. Let's do it.
This week in review.
Okay, so our summary for the LPL this week was 6 wins and 9 losses, but unfortunately we were down $465 for the LPL. What about you, Ryan, over at the LEC? How'd you go?
No games.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. All right, so with no games on at the LEC, it looks like our total loss was $465 this week. Bit of a disappointing one.
Well, would you like me to do the conversion for the everyday common man for that one?
Yeah, give it to us.
I'll paint you a bit of a tragic story. So you've had it. Maxi Bonds this week were on special. You stocked up your fridge, 55 boxes of Maxi Bonds ready to go. You left your house on the Saturday morning to hear tragedy. There was a power outage in your area. You get home. There's nothing but a puddle of delicious, delicious ice cream on the floor. Unsalvageable. 55 boxes down the drain.
Oh, that is brutal.
Not the result we wanted.
Not the result we wanted this week. So to fix those sort of tragedies, I think it's really important to make sure you have a good reserve of Maxi Bonds in the sub-freezers, sort of in the basement. And what I mean more by that is that it's really important to have your bankroll management on point. So that when we do have these weeks where, and this is a tough week, but when we do have these weeks, it means that you can ride it out and it's just a small dent in our bankroll system rather than like making us bust or going into the tilt bets and trying to win stuff back. We trust in our long-term sort of management, and there's a few different ways that you can complement that through your bankroll management. The first that we sort of suggest doing with our own personal stuff is we go by the percentage of your bankroll and betting that on each tip. We suggest about 5%, but most people go anywhere in the range of 2 to 6% for most of their bets, and it means that when you're winning lots, you're compounding those winnings each week and you're increasing those bets after every single win. But when you're losing, it means that you're decreasing those bet sizes. So theoretically, you should never, ever, ever go down to 0. Because if you're going 5% of your total balance every time, you're just going to reduce that bet size over and over and over. Ideally, though, this strategy works really well when we do have a positive winning rate or when we do, which we do over at Esports Tips. But some of our customers and other people, they like to use a fixed bankroll strategy where they're betting the exact same amount each week. I know that Seagull, you kind of started off doing that.
Yep, I
And
decided to put your theories to test, and it turns out they check out. So I would definitely recommend the compounding system over the fixed system.
Yeah, exactly. It means especially like I think you jumped in at a time when we had maybe a couple of weeks that weren't too great, and so you lost a lot of your bankroll pretty quickly, and then you went, J-Rod, like what's going on? Like I've been betting this amount each time, and I've got well, Seagull, you've come to the right person to ask a
Young
question. I
Padawan.
recommend, jump over to the percentage one, and I think it's a much better strategy to go long term over the course of like months and months. So
Definitely.
yeah, I think it's time to get into our news story though.
Beto Baker maybe in trouble here. Deathmark tries to clean it up for Ryu. Oh, look at the cleanse. Look at the
News?
So this week's news actually takes us to one of the minor regions. So everyone that's watched Worlds or MSI is probably familiar with PSG as a team from Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So they've actually had not only an incredible split, but an incredible year. So this last split, they went 18-0. So absolutely rolled everybody else in the region.
Dude, that is crazy.
And for the year, their win rate is 97.7% at a 42-1 record. So I guess it's just like looking at it, is it the region that's subpar, or a PSG just absolutely cracked this year? And it will be really interesting to see them come against some of the major region teams at Worlds.
Dude, for sure.
Yeah. And it'll be exciting to see how they fare against some of the bigger regions like LPL and LCK. So
Yeah, I know their star player Maple has had some LPL experience, but just seeing how their form is this year, it will be just interesting to see how they come as a unit to fare against them.
Well, that's it. They did pretty well at MSI, so I'm expecting them to be one of the best minor region teams heading into Worlds.
Yeah, and over to the LCS this week. We had the first few games of the finals, getting into that. So we had the first two upper bracket games. So we had C9 versus Team Liquid. Team Liquid surprising a lot of people with a pretty easy win, 3-1 there, knocking C9 into the losers bracket there. And then Dignitas versus Evil Geniuses, as expected. Evil Geniuses made pretty light work of Dignitas, so now C9 and Dignitas into the losers bracket. So any losses from here on out for them mean elimination, and no Worlds for them. So we're going to continue on with the LCS this week. There's going to be one finals game every day from Thursday till Sunday. Those best of fives, so pretty exciting. Yeah.
That's like a pretty big deal as well, because C9 are in the losers bracket now, like right at the start of the losers bracket. So they've got a long way to go to actually get to Worlds, which C9 have been a pretty big mainstay at every year.
Exactly.
It will be a bit of a Cinderella story if they make it all the way, won't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's what NA is all about. They love their Cinderella stories, their Hollywood pictures. They'll make films about them one day when they go on to win Worlds.
That's right.
And the memes if Perks doesn't make Worlds. So
True. Imagine if he doesn't get a chance to face his old team in G2.
Yeah. It's not looking likely at the moment.
So the best bit about this stuff at the moment, though, is that Thursday through to Sunday, we've pretty much got one best of five every single day. So it's sort of the stuff that we're living for, that end of season picks where this is what League of Legends is all about, as we said last week, those best of fives. And we can't wait to give you a few cheeky little tips later on in the podcast.
All right, Henry, I've been looking forward to this all week. What have you got for us?
Oh yeah. It's Seagull's fun time.
All right, guys. So I know you both fancy yourself experienced in the realm of League of Legends, whether that's watching or playing. Now, something that is probably less important playing, and you might learn more from watching, are the names of the champion ability ultimates. So let's see how many you know.
Yeah.
All right. So the rules of the game, how we're going to play. We're going to have I serve a question to Ryan. If he gets it wrong, Jared gets a chance to steal. 10 questions total. Who will come up victorious? Time for the first question. We're going to start it off pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan, for question number 1, what is the name of Kennan's ultimate ability?
Slicing Maelstrom.
Correct. 1 point to Ryan. Yeah. All right. So now we owe Jared an easy one. So, what is the name of Rumble's ultimate ability?
The Equalizer.
Correct.
Yes.
You can just picture the casters getting excited about that one. So, a couple more easy ones, but then we're going to get a bit more exotic. So, Ryan, what is the name of Lux's ultimate ability?
Is it Blinding Light?
Incorrect.
Oh.
Jared, chance for a steal.
Piercing Light. Is that okay?
That's Lucian's Q, actually.
Oh, damn.
And I think Binding Light might be Lux's Q, but
I think
Final Spark is the correct answer.
Final Spark, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so Jared, what is the name of Nocturne's ultimate ability?
Oh my gosh. No, I'm going to have to pass this one to Ryan.
Ryan.
I know when he, like, anytime I just have the dread whenever you hear darkness.
Yep, you've given yourself a big
what
hint.
it's called? Is it just called darkness?
No.
Nah, surely it's
paranoia.
That's right. Yeah.
So you're still tied up 1-1, right?
This might go down to a 2-1 finish.
Could do. Okay. So, Ryan, what is the name of Quinn's ultimate ability?
Oh, man. I'm pretty sure you said this.
I actually have
last
referenced this when planning for the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's not only a test of your League of Legends knowledge, but also if you listen to me.
That's what I just said. I said that you said it. Nah, I don't know.
Jared.
Oh,
Ryan? Spanish?
Nah.
Yes? No. Okay.
Is it Valor?
No, I'm sorry.
That's the name of the bird, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. Because a bit of trivia as well. The original name of the champion Quinn was Quinn and Valor, but then they changed it just to Quinn, like Nuno and Willem-esque. Anyway,
yeah.
So Jared,
what is it? What was it?
Behind Enemy Lines.
Yeah, okay.
What do you got? That producer, Sick Dog?
Damn straight I would. I listen to everything you say,
Thank you.
Seagull.
It feels nice to be listened to sometimes. Okay, Jared.
Yeah, go.
Colloquially referred to as a kick, what is the name of Lee Sin's ultimate ability?
Is it Tempest Kick?
Incorrect.
Oh.
Ryan.
I actually have no idea. I don't think I've ever played Lee Sin before in my life.
It's Dragon's Rage.
Dragon's Rage.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, so now for the final question, worth 100 times more than the other questions, making the rest of the quiz completely pointless. And this is a speed round, by the way, so first one to answer wins. What is the name of Kaiser's ultimate ability? Picture it, mind's eye. What do the shoutcasters say? Going in with the insert correct answer here.
No idea.
Okay. All right. Easy one. What is the name of Nautilus's ultimate ability?
How is it an easy one? It's the same as...
Submerged. No. What is it?
I actually know this one.
Yeah. Sick Dog?
How do you know
Depth
Sick Dog?
charge.
Yeah. Stella wins.
Stella's just like nailing it.
League.
Sick Dog.
We've watched thousands of hours of League.
Sick Dog won. All right.
One more. Let's go.
All right.
I'm trying to think of which champion that you would give me that I would know, and I don't know which one.
What is the name of Pantheon's ultimate ability?
Oh, Nightfall. No. Starfall. Grand Starfall. Boom. Easy.
Correct.
Oh,
Easy.
Correct.
How many games
It was
of
Night
how many games of
Grand
Pokemon have you
Full
played,
Star-
Jared? How many games?
Grand Starfall. Yep.
man, I got like 10 kills using that ability today, and I still don't know the answer of it.
I just call it
Bit of a flex.
Weird flex, but okay. What elo is that?
I just call
Anyway,
it.
let's wrap it up for the next section. Thanks for playing the quiz, guys.
Wow,
Oh
that
my
was-
gosh, that's over. We sucked so much. It's time to
Deep dive.
Okay, on to our deep dive. And this week's topic, we're having a bit of a discussion about, have the big cost players perform well this split? Who's made the best roster changes and what just hasn't worked? So I think we jump first into the S plus tier range where we look at those like multi-million-dollar contracts, and we saw probably for the first time in esports history some of the biggest contract signings and the transfers that we've ever seen before, especially in League of Legends. And two of them really notable ones towards the LCS, the North American League, were Perks from G2 to C9 and Sword Art from Suning to TSM. So let's first talk about the Perks move. So we've got Perks went from G2 at the start of the year to C9, Cloud9 for those who are unaware of the North American League, for I think it was reported to be $5 million US for a 2-year contract. So, I think you've done the maths for the common man once again.
Yeah,
Tell us a
well,
bit.
we've just got the report back from the lab from our on-site engineer here. So, $5 million converted to Maxibons would be eating a Maxibon every single hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 271 years.
Oh my gosh,
Now,
that's a lot of
I don't even think I'm
Maxibons.
going to live that long if I don't eat an ice cream every hour, let alone if I do. So it's a lot of Maxibons.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be expecting that if you were getting paid that many Maxibons a day, you'd be wanting to step it up for your team and start carrying. How have they been going?
Well, I think in the media and especially the Reddit analysts have been absolutely smashing Perks for his contribution to C9 this year. They were complaining that he didn't even make the top 3 for the team of the year after, I guess, coming from one of the most dominant Western sides ever in G2. And the questions have been asked, and maybe it's something that we can ask you two as well, but I don't think the Perks has performed up to the level of a $5 million contract. What about you guys?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This is the first time we've seen those kind of big names move across, those big dollars being spent, and like we don't really know what the expectation is there. Are you expecting them to just come in and smurf on these LCS losers and just carry every game, or is it just, are they just paying? Is that what a good quality player is expected to be paid now? Is he just now part of the top few mid laners, and that's all you can expect there? So I guess we have to see as that kind of sets a bit of a precedence for the future there.
Yeah, it certainly puts the pressure on him. But I mean, my takeaway from this is that like salary wise, esports are slowly closing the gap on traditional sports. Like, I mean, this is still pocket change if you look at things like the NBA, for example, but they certainly have bigger deals than this for players being traded in the NBA, and then those players may not necessarily perform as they were hoping that they would. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes.
All we need to do, especially in Australia, is look at our local traditional sports leagues. And even you're looking at the AFL and that's the Australian Football League for those who don't know the acronym, and the A-League, the professional soccer or football in Australia. Like, these are rivaling the top contracts in those sports. And like, that's a national sport that you get to sit in your home and, well, at the moment during COVID, sit in your home and play competitively. But you sit on stage and get to play a computer game for $5 million a year or over 2 years. That's pretty incredible, and it makes the sport start to seem pretty legitimate.
Maybe we'll start seeing some of our AFL stars pick up esports just for financial reasons.
Well, I have seen some of them start to jump on Twitch and get onto that content creator bandwagon. So the line is starting to be blurred between traditional sports and esports and business and how it all makes money.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, we've got the change from Suning with the support Sword Art. Probably in comparison to Perks, has came in, had a bit of a rough start, I guess, maybe a bit of a climate change for him, coming from China, but yeah, carried his team basically on his back to a first place in the split. Yeah, it would be pretty hard to argue against Sword Art not being the MVP for the team, and they've come out on top. So yeah, maybe his $6 million transfer is worth it, and big teams are willing to pay the big bucks if they get the results there, right?
Yeah, well, I think that there's an argument to be made in the LCS or at the moment that almost every single support is playing out of their mind. Like, name one and they're probably popping off. But it brings a big point between the difference and the reasons why each of those players cost so much, like the difference between Perks and Showmaker. As a Western team, like TSM probably isn't buying Sword Art as a way of bringing in a player that's going to bring new fans or shirt sales to a Western team, but they're bringing him in because he's such an amazing player and he can bring that skill level up to the level where they want to be, which is competing and getting out of groups at Worlds. Whereas I think C9 might be in a little bit of a transition period at the moment, like with someone like them taking the gamble on Fudge, and it paid off brilliantly. He was the best top laner in the LCS this year. But looking more at that, let's make a lot of money at the moment, and who's going to bring us lots of viewership in Western fans? Probably Perks. It's a huge name. Like,
it's all a business at the end of the day. So
exactly right.
Investment and return.
Yeah, and I think that they're both looking at it from different business perspectives. C9 going popular player, TSM going maybe the best support in the world. Who knows? Chuck them into our teams, and we make money on different fronts. And it's happened. Like, TSM finished top. Cloud9 just lost their first playoff game, and they're in the losers bracket. Like, where do you want to be? Making money through that avenue or making money through winning avenue? I'd probably rather be winning if I'm a professional team.
Yeah. But it also begs a question. We also saw the move from Abadage to 100 Thieves. Definitely not in the same kind of numbers regions. I don't know how accurate it was, but a bit of Reddit searching came up with about of a $1 million figure for, I'm not even sure how long the contract is, but way different numbers and a different performance as well. That Abadage upgrade has really changed that team. They finished second. They're still in the winners bracket. And, does someone like Abadage go to 100 Thieves and be like, hey, like, where's my $5 million? I'm just as good as Perks. And, we're looking towards the future. Is, LCS just going to be that money league where you're just paying for players, paying for wins?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it turns into. I mean, did you see a few months ago the TSM announced a huge naming sponsorship with the crypto brokerage firm FTX?
Yeah.
It was so they signed for a reported 210 million US over 10 years. So that's potentially an extra, $21 million per year that they can spend on player transfers and contracts now. I'm sure it won't all go towards their League of Legends team because that's a whole brand thing, but definitely means they can potentially, for their premier esport, which is League of Legends, buy a $5 million player every year. Like, that's nothing when you've got 20 extra to be spending.
And they might even invest in something like, I don't know if you've seen the Team Liquid training facility with their personal chef and dietitian and masseuse and whatever else they've got there. But just trying to build their own elite players in-house through investment.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool that we're seeing esports start to get that level of investment where you're getting nutritionists and those 1%ers so that these elite players can play at their best. And yeah, it's exciting for a competitive league.
If you've put in the hard work, you've grinded the solo queue, like, why wouldn't you want to go to a big team like TL and live the life of a professional athlete and, make that money that you've, I guess, worked hard for?
Yeah,
might see
certainly more
kids being like,
attractive.
I want to be a gamer when I'm older, kind of thing, and now it's like a realistic goal. So
Exactly.
it's good to see as well.
Let's talk about one of the other big tier transfers over the start of the year, and it was we've got Nuggery, who went from Darm One Gaming, who were last year's Worlds winners. He ended up deciding to leave that squad. The same squad has stuck together except for him, and he's jumped over to the Chinese league. So gone from Korea to China and jumped straight into the FPX squad. So he's moved from world champions Darm One Gaming to the Split 1, I believe, and now the Split 2 league leaders at the end of it. So super big move. I think he's the first person maybe ever to have won the LCK and the LPL titles in consecutive splits. And he's looking like he's, well, absolutely on fire for FPX. They did sub him out into game 3 against EDG, but I don't think that was necessarily a lack of skill or anything. It just was a bit of a nothing game, and they were memeing on each other for the first place position.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if, when you're the best player in the world, you can kind of go wherever you want. So it'd be interesting to see kind of the behind the scenes on the decision on that, whether it was, Naguri wanting to make the change in the leagues. Maybe he's got some, goal and dream of winning the split for every region, or maybe it was just a really enticing deal. Yeah, you'd probably have to say that LPL has a bit more money than LCK, right? When it comes to,
I think that he probably saw what his maybe fellow compatriots like Doonby did with Fun Plus like a few years before him, and decided like, you know what, like the LPL looks like it's a fun league to play in. I don't actually know, because I think that a lot of numbers are fabricated a little bit in China, but I did read somewhere that Nuggery might be earning close to $100 million a year now that he's streaming and sponsorships and playing for a team like FPX. And
jeez,
if you just head
a Maximum calculator just broke, I think.
But yeah, like it makes sense. Like you could possibly believe it. I'm not sure if I believe that much, but you could possibly believe it given the numbers that some of these players get on Hoya, which is like the Chinese equivalent to Twitch or YouTube. So they're getting in the millions of sort of viewers range. And you think about people like Ninja or Excusey getting 100,000 on Twitch and earning like 50 to 100 million. These guys are getting just as much on the Chinese ones. So like it's pretty crazy that maybe that was either a career decision for making a lot of money, but also he's now in probably one of the top 3 Chinese teams in the league. And
yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to the final of Worlds where Damwon versus FPX, and he crushes his old team, or falls victim to them.
That
good story.
Would be pretty lit. So we've talked about the big winners, but on to the big losers. And this is the group that you normally don't want to be in at the end of the year. But I think the obvious ones for us have been Suning, number 1. It's obvious how much of an impact Sword Art has made, going from Suning making the World Finals last year, unfortunately losing it to probably Darm, the best team I've maybe ever seen play on the international stage. So no discredit to them there. And now they're in 9th place. They barely scraped it into finals, and they're just looking a little bit lost for shot calling. And then you look at the flip side, TSM absolutely flying. So that one player, it's
a Sword Art
pretty
diff.
obvious. Yeah, it's a Sword Art diff. And then bit of a sad one, but it's been a slow decline, has been Invictus Gaming. And it's not necessarily because of roster changes. It's probably because of not having roster changes. And a few of them are just, I don't know, they're moving on into their mid to late 20s. I know as mid to late 20s fellas myself, it feels a bit sad to see, but yeah, Ryan, you're correct there. Maybe they just passed their prime.
Are you saying I don't have a promising esports career ahead of me, Jared?
I hate to be the one to break it to you, but no.
It's interesting because you think that there's no physical limitations when it comes to video games, but yeah, I think there is reaction time limitations, and just being a boomer limitations, so probably still have
I
that
wonder-
same peak that you do in mainstream sports.
And this could be another whole topic for the future, but I wonder how much it also means when they have just been a pro for 2 or 3 seasons, playing 60 to 80 hours of league a week and just grinding their butts off for that long.
Yeah.
You mean just
maybe
burnout?
Yeah, just burnout in
Mm.
general. Like, I think that could be Invictus's problem at the moment.
I
Maybe
mean,
they need some new teams, new environment, new motivations.
I know, like,
Or-
personally in my games, I find that this, like, if I'm only playing 2 or 3 ranked games a day, I generally perform better than if I'm going to try to smash out 10 in one day. So, yeah, like, amplified on that kind of scale, it's not surprised that these teams get burnt out and start going through the motions. Like, who goes to their 9 to 5 job and gives 110% every minute of the day? Like, it's impossible.
It's hard. It's hard.
Burnout's definitely been a big topic of conversation when it comes to how many games these pro players are playing, but that's probably a topic for another deep dive. But yeah, should we finish it up there? Let's,
Yeah, for sure.
Get into next week's bets.
All right, everyone. So we've got our next week's bets. And first up, we've got the LEC. So Ryan Chicken Gun is going to take us through our pick of the week for our LEC this week.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's the first game of the finals for LEC, so we've had a week break, so I'm ready to go with this one. And the first game is Rogue versus Misfits. So Rogue finished the top of the table, so they got to choose who they wanted to go against between G2 and Misfits. And yeah, with their head-to-head, it was pretty obvious that Rogue wasn't going to go against G2, so they've chosen to go against Misfits, which is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. I would say Rogue is kind of just the better Misfits in terms of their game style, how they play, how their strategies. They're pretty similar. Just Rogue's just better at it in every single way. So it's not going to be super scrappy like you would see a Rogue versus G2 game or something with the other teams. They're very clean. They farm up. They take towers. They just put pressure on the map, and Rogue's just much better at it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this went a 3-0. Misfits definitely can take a map, so we're going to go with the minus 1.5 for Rogue to win at a $1.61. We might find some different odds as it gets closer to the game, but I would expect that to slowly go down just with the quality of the teams here, with Rogue being clearly the favorite.
Great. So for the minus 1.5 odds, Jared, can you just explain what that means in a best of 5 context?
Yeah, for sure. So normally we'd be going that sort of a handicap in the best of 3s when we want a team to win 2-0. But considering it is a best of 5, to actually win the series, they now need to win 3 maps. And that can mean they win 3-0, 3-1, or 3-2 if it's just a regular series. However, we're going with the minus 1.5. So they're starting 1.5 maps behind. So the only results that can happen for us to win there are going to be a 3-0, where they win by 3 maps, or a 3-1, where they win by 2 maps.
Great.
So the 3-2 doesn't quite let us win that one. So we're hoping that they only drop 1 map in that entire series.
A little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, definitely. On a similar note, I'm this week going the LNG versus Suning matchup on the weekend, or on Thursday, I believe. And that one there, I'm jumping on the Suning to also win with a minus 1.5 handicap. We've been seeing that LNG has just not really been themselves for this second half of the split 2. They started off the split 7-0, and then since then have just been losing more than they've been winning, and just not quite adapted to the new meta. And on the other hand, Suning, how we said before, they looked a bit lost without Sword Art. They're actually starting to really briefly and occasionally look like quite a good team. So we're thinking it's a bit of the old Suning back against a out-of-form LNG where everyone's bullying Tarzan out of his jungle, and he's not having much fun. So, yep, we're jumping on Suning to win the 3-1 or the 3-0 by betting on the map handicap at $1.92.
Yeah, and we do have the LCS. We haven't been giving any recommendations for LCS there, so yeah, we're going to continue to just probably look at the live betting for those games. But I did have a look through, and Jared and Henry, you can agree or disagree with me here, but I saw that TSM are the underdogs for the TSM versus TL game on Sunday, which, yeah, I would say the books probably got that a bit wrong there. What would you say there?
Yeah, I'd tend to agree. I think TSM, they finished top and they're there for a reason. So having them as the underdogs against TL that kind of haven't been performing all that well or consistently this split, I'd be, if I once I go back and look at the games a little bit more, I'd be maybe willing to jump on that TSM bet. But I know how many times LCS has burnt us, so we're definitely not making that as a recommendation anymore for our sort of official tips.
Although in
Just
saying us, a lot of the
interesting.
times we have been burnt with LCS, it's because it's that, one game coin flip result, and it's a bit volatile. So in these best of fives, we might actually see a little bit more consistency with the analysis for the teams.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes me a little bit worried about that TSM versus TL matchup is that TL did look really good against Cloud9 a day or two ago, and
Definitely.
so the odds might be reflecting that really positive look on them. And yeah, it's the LCS. It seems like anything can happen over there.
Yeah, definitely. We thought that C9 were going to run away with the match against TL, and that was what a lot of the analysts and casters were saying, and yeah, it just went totally the other way. So, yeah, still a bit of a danger league there. So, bet at your own caution.
Exactly right. Good luck on your betting with those ones this week. Hopefully our tips come off for you. But yeah, there's plenty more for the VIPs and all of the Patreon supporters up on our Discord. But yeah, that's all we have time for this week. So yeah, thanks so much for listening. We're so excited to have brought you this content each week, and we'd love to hear from you. So if you do have a question, please message us on any of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, etc.
If you do love League of Legends just as much as we do, come on over to our Discord. Jared, Henry, and myself, we're active there every day. If you've got any questions, just slide into our DMs or post it into the general chat. There's many experienced league bettors and players there that will help you out. So welcome to our community. And yeah, if you want some more private insights on what we do, then you can subscribe to our Patreon at Esports News _tips, starting at just $5 a week. So you get a lot of information there also.
And before we go, we do want to acknowledge that this podcast is recorded on the lands of the Ghana people, the traditional custodians of the lands on which we live, learn, and game. These lands were stolen and never ceded. The podcast was written by all of us, produced by Sick Dog, mixed and edited by Seagull Lord, and from all of us here at League of Bets, GG Easy. See you next time.
Bye.